Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Lifestyle Sports. It's AI from the 210. There's been a lot that took place in the NBA world last night. We have some games to go over. But first, before we get into these playoff games, there's a NBA comparison I've been thinking about recently. I know it's come up before, but we can't ignore this. We cannot ignore this comparison. What I want to discuss is, will Trae Young be the next Steph Curry? Shout out Trae Young. He's been killing this playoffs, and it looks like he's going to lead Atlanta to the next round against the New York Knicks. In my opinion, the New York Knicks were no slouch of a team at all. No, they were not a horrible team this year. Thibodeau is a good coach. Julius Randle came alive, and they got other pieces, R.J. Barrett and D. Rose, who can hoop, for sure. So what I want to know is, will Trae Young be the next Steph Curry? Steph Curry, and that's a great person to pick from Trae Young's perspective, looking at it, that's a great comparison because Steph Curry, if not the greatest point guard of all time already, he's at least top five. You got to give him credit for being top five. Steph Curry, two-time MVP, unanimous MVP, back-to-back MVP award, three-time champ. Y'all, his resume speaks for itself. He just won the scoring title this year. So what I want to start off with is, when we look at the career stats, I know Steph has played more seasons than Trae Young, but let's just compare the career stats. Steph, 24.2 points per game, 4.6 rebounds per game, and 6.5 assists per game. Then we look at Trae Young career stats. In 3 seasons, 24.1 points per game, 3.9 rebounds per game, and 9 assists per game. To me, in my opinion, that's pretty close. And they have a very similar style of play. You know, Steph can hit from anywhere, just pull up, logo, just water, pulling up. Trae Young, to me, does the same thing. He doesn't shoot as great as Steph, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. But he only just finished year 3. He's still in his playoffs right now. He's still on his run. And he has a very similar style of play to Steph. So, like I said, Trae Young is in this playoff run. And if we go to Steph's year 3, it was cut short due to injury, but Steph averaged 14.7 points per game. That's decent. Yeah, I know injury, played an effect in that, so we're just gonna skip to year 4 for Steph. And in year 4, Steph made the leap to 22.9 points per game and 7 assists per game. Trae Young in year 3 averaged 25 points per game and 9.4 assists per game. So if we look at both their year 3s, we see Trae Young is a little bit more advanced than where Steph was at year 3. So with the style of play, you see where I'm going with this. And with those numbers, I would say, like, if we look at the current numbers, how Steph just won the scoring title, Trae Young, I feel like if we could say, without a doubt, Steph Curry shoots better than Trae Young. Steph Curry is, of course, in my opinion, the best shooter of all time we see. But I feel like Trae Young passed a little better than Steph. He knows how to get his teammates involved a little more. So with that being said, if we look at the assist numbers from Trae Young, and we bring them to Steph's assist numbers, let's say say Trae Young averaged 2 more assists than Steph Curry. So let's say those are 2 threes. We can give that 6 points onto his scoring, and he's right there with Steph. So, like I said, I just want to get the people thinking, get everybody thinking. And I just want y'all to see what's going on. Trae Young is out there. I know people see this, but don't sleep on Trae Young. He might be the next future MVP of the NBA. Just think about it. Steph didn't win MVP till year 6. Trae is only going into year 4. So if ATL could get some high-quality free agents, but get the Hawks just a tad bit better on the upper echelon of teams, is it wrong to say Trae Young might be the next MVP of the league? I'm just saying, I just want to get y'all thinking about this. You know what I'm saying? I just want to get everybody thinking. Remember, if Trae Young go ahead and get that MVP, I said it here. I said it. Shout out Trae Young. I'm rooting for you. Shout out Trae Young. The first game we're going to go ahead and get into was Game 4, the Sixers versus the Wizards. The Wizards pulled out this win, 122-114. The Sixers are now up 3-1 in the series. Bradley Beal, 27 points from the Wizards side. You know you can't just stop Bradley Beal like that. He's a great scorer. Was one of the top scorers this year. Russell Westbrook, another triple-double, the triple-double king, the historic player, triple-double king. Westbrook, 19 points, 21 rebounds, and 14 assists. He didn't shoot particularly well last night, 3 for 19, but that triple-double and his ferocity on the court, we already know Westbrook, he don't play. He knows what's at stake here. He fights for it. Then we got Uchimara, 20 points and 13 rebounds, and he made a clutch shot to secure the Wizards' victory. Shout out to Uchimara. I like the fight in the Wizards. They said they weren't getting swept. We saw the Heat already got swept. The Wizards were not going to let that happen off top. When we go to the Sixers, Tobias Harris, 21 points and 13 rebounds. Good game from Tobias. You know, that's an underrated player. He shot 8 for 24, but when we look at Embiid, he got injured in the first quarter. He only was able to get 8 points and 6 rebounds. I know he would have played more dominant than that. So Tobias, they were able to focus on Tobias. And so I expect better shooting numbers next game, even though the Sixers are good on defense. But if Embiid doesn't play, then we got to expect more from the other players. Ben Simmons, 13 points and 12 rebounds. That's a good game from Ben Simmons. We know he's a good all-around player. A lot of people have him as Defensive Player of the Year this year. So he contributes in many ways. I know people want him to score more, and I do too. That would make him wave. Like if Ben Simmons could score a little better, he could have that brawn factor with the size and the feel for the game. But we will see. He's young too. He's a young player. He can definitely grow into that. But for this series' sake, I feel like they take advantage of Ben Simmons' shooting ability, free throw ability, to be exact. The Wizards used that hack-a-shack method to get him to shoot these free throws down the line, down the stretch. He only made 5 for 11. So Ben Simmons knows what he has to work on for sure, but he's still a great player, may win Defensive Player of the Year. I hope Embiid comes back for the Sixers just for them to have their complete team and make the playoffs that much more exciting and competitive. But if Embiid doesn't come back, I think the Wizards could get one more, but the Sixers would win in 6. But if he is able to just play, just be there on the court, then I think the Sixers are still winning 5. The next game I like to discuss that took place was Utah versus Memphis, Game 4. Utah wins 120-113. The Jazz are now up 3-1 in this series. When we look at the Jazz, we see the return of Donovan Mitchell off injury. He did just miss 1 game, but when he came back, he hasn't missed a beat. 30 points and 8 assists. Great game from Donovan Mitchell. Can't really ask more from him. Pretty good game from your star players, which you need from him. We look at Jordan Clarkson. Shout out Jordan Clarkson, 2-1-0 Texas. You know I got to show love to all my 2-1-0 babies out there. 24 points off the bench, 6th man of the year. You know, Jordan Clarkson, he from the Tone, so y'all see it in him. Just know, he from the Tone, so you know what he coming with. Then we got Rudy Gobert, 17 points and 8 rebounds. Great defensive player. He did his job. The Jazz played a great game. When we go to Memphis, Ja Morant, killer. I love Ja. This playoff series, I love watching him develop. I've been rooting for him since the beginning. I root for Ja Morant, 23 points and 12 assists. He's averaged 33 points per game this playoff series. Like I said, the NBA has something to fear in Ja Morant. Just watch next season. Watch what he come with. He coming with something. Shout out Dylan Brooks, 21 points. Good game from Dylan Brooks. He for sure is a competitor. Doesn't back down from anybody. Love it. Jaren Jackson, 21 points and 6 rebounds. I see Jaren out there too. You know, Jaren's a hooper for sure. Jaren can hoop. So when we look at this game, it just seems like the Jazz just are a better team, just have a better complete team. The Jazz went on a 13-2 run at the end of the third quarter, and Memphis just didn't have the firepower to keep up. At the end of the third quarter, the Jazz took advantage with that run. Also, something to mention, we got to point this out that Utah made 50% of their threes last night, and they made 17 threes. So it's pretty tough to beat a team if they're clicking from the three-point line like that. If you hit 50%, 17 threes, Utah just played better. The way it's going, like I said, I love Ja Morant. I root for Ja. He can hoop. But I just feel like the Jazz are better, and Utah closes this out in 5. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of The Lifestyle Sports. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, follow on IG at The Lifestyle Sports, at Allen Iverson, A-L-A-N Iverson. I'm going to spell it one more time, A-L-A-N Iverson. Thank y'all for tuning in. Till next time.